everyone. And welcome back. Today, I have a makeup book by Lisa Eldridge, and it's called Facepaint, the story of makeup. And what better book to look at than one about makeup. So it's quite a large book. With many pages. So I thought that we could go through them and look at the pictures and read some of the little sections. So you can see what she has to say about the history of makeup. So sit back and relax, and I hope you enjoy this. And the book is about $30 in the US, but I ordered it on Amazon for less than that. And she dedicated it to her mother. There's two main sections. One is the ancient palette, and they talk about the colors red, white, and black. And the second section is the business of beauty. It's media, beauty pioneers, and the history in your handbag, and the bleeding edge into the future. And there's quite a few, you'd call them avant-garde pictures. They're fun to look at. The introduction. Although we have been painting ourselves in a variety of ways for thousands of years, the reasons why and how we wear makeup in the 21st century have changed dramatically. Now, when we put on our makeup, we have literally hundreds of trends and styles to choose from. There's a full spectrum of color and a multitude of affordable and not so affordable products at our fingertips. With the freedom to use these products as we want, without censure, something that was not the case until fairly recent times. But to really understand how painting our faces has evolved into a fine art, we need to look back and track our ever-evolving relationship with makeup, tracing the journey that has led to beauty becoming the multi-billion-dollar industry it is today. I have been fascinated by makeup since I was a child. Initially captivated more by the colors, smells, sense of history, and objects themselves, than the desire to apply it. But when I was 13, I decided I wanted to be a makeup artist after a family friend gave me a book about theatrical makeup for my birthday. And ever since then, face paint from the past, present, and future has been my life. I started collecting vintage items like powder boxes and antique pots of blush in the early 1990s. And I'll never forget the rush of excitement discovering my first vintage makeup finds at a stall in the Portobello Road Market in London. Makeup was ablaze with color. I still get a little thrill when I'm able to add new rarities to my collection. And then more, but there's so many pages, I think. We'll start looking. The Painted Face Prologue. The modern definition of cosmetics, according to the US FDA, covers anything that is rubbed, poured, sprinkled, or sprayed on, introduced into, or otherwise applied to the human body. A good painter needs only 3 colors: black, white, and red. And that's what the next pages cover. Section 1. The Ancient Palette. And this is a picture of a woman applying color to her lips. It's very old. Red, beauty's most enduring shade. I think we all think of lipstick when we think of the color red. Rouge is the longest standing makeup item in existence and the most multi-purposed. And here's a section on tribal red. It's not just our lips and cheeks that we have painted over history. Many ancient and modern day tribes are known for their considerable use of red paint on their faces. And here, a young geisha in training applies Benny lipstick from a pot. Here we have the Trotula. After the writings of the ancient period, the next major text to focus on makeup was the Trotula, a group of 3 books on the subject of women's medicine, written in the Italian town of Salerno in the 12th century. Red projects itself. No color is as territorial. Its length takes a claim. And here we have a late 16th century portrait. Suggests that fashionable and noble women wore their blush in the shape of an inverted triangle applied to the apple of the cheeks. And here's the portrait of Madame de Pompadour using a petite brush to apply the blush. Blush through the ages. Purely biological? Question mark. Flushed cheeks indicate sexual arousal, youth, health, and fertility. Red is the color of life, of blood. I love red, says Coco Chanel. What red can do for the spirit, it can also do for the face. And so feel a red. And I think I agree. When you're wearing red, either with makeup or clothes, I feel very powerful. And here's a section on makeup muses. Marie Antoinette. And Queen Alexander of Denmark. Now we're on to the color white and the politics and power of pale skin. For a long time in the history of cosmetics throughout Europe and the Far East, the prevailing trend was if not exactly the same, then a variation on one central theme: pale skin. And this was achieved through a variety of creams, ointments, and cosmetics that were meant to lighten and even out the appearance of skin. And they talk about ingredients like lead. But why? It seems reasonable to ask, did the Greeks use lead as their whitener of choice? When researching this period and the use of lead powder, I was interested to discover that ancient Athens owned much of its great wealth to the Laurian mines, located close to the city. They produced a vast amount of silver, reportedly 10,000 tons in the 5th century BC. The discarded byproducts of which were mountains of white lead pigment. Lead wasn't specifically mined until much later. It's my belief that the widespread use of lead as a key ingredient in skin whitening cosmetics in Athens in the proximity of the silver mines can't be coincidental. It's kind of scary to think about the things people used to put on their faces. And here's a picture of the Japanese geisha putting white pigment on her face and chest. And more. There's an empress Museitan ingested pearl powder, which was thought to stimulate skin healing, as well as applied to the face to brighten her complexion. White may be said to represent light, without which no color can be seen. And there will be blood. In addition to the use of pastes and potions, bloodletting and leeches were both employed to induce a fair complexion. How crazy is that? The decadent parties of 16th century Venice, and the excessive makeup worn continues to fascinate makeup artists, filmmakers, to this day. And I talk about it. So quite a bit of well-researched information. Some very stunning pictures. You can see down here we're still in the white. And then here's more makeup muses. Elizabeth Siddal, the ultimate pre-Raphaelite icon, described as a pre-Raphaelite supermodel. And then we're on to black. Beauty's dark matter. Globally today, black makeup is largely used to enhance eyes and eyebrows, with a few exceptions. He talks about why. And you can see here, it's Elizabeth Taylor as Cleopatra, cementing the image of exaggerated Egyptian kohl. And here, ancient Egyptian art shows stylized lining in the eyes. Certain traits deemed beautiful appear consistently throughout history, as illustrated by these images of Nefertiti and Sophia Loren taken millennium apart. They both feature heavily defined almond-shaped eyes, high cheekbones, full lips, and a long neck. A woman at her toilet is shown applying a black patch from a moche box that contains her lover's portrait on the lid. A little beauty patch mark. There is a black which is old, and a black which is fresh. Black eye makeup is so popular today that it's hard to imagine a time when it wasn't used. And I definitely agree with that. dyeing tradition. Historically, in Japanese culture, black was regarded as beautiful and was highly prized. But while outfitting and darkening one's eyes and brows with black makeup isn't very different from what we do today, dyeing one's teeth black is more than a little aesthetically challenging. However, odd it may seem in modern Western culture, when many people pay large sums of money to make their teeth whiter, tooth blackening is something that has been popular throughout history. Japan, China, and Southeast Asia. You can see she has black teeth. So in some places it was a desirable look. I've been 40 years discovering that the queen of all colors was black. More makeup users. Nefertiti, Nina, Kumari, Bridget Bardot, and Audrey Hepburn. I love Audrey Hepburn and all her movies. And now we're on to section 2, which is the business of beauty. Media and motivation, creating the dream. In these days, we are surrounded by imagery. Whatever we are looking through, a magazine, watching TV, browsing our phones, or walking down the street, images are impossible to avoid. We've already seen that the motives and desires behind makeup use in the West and Far East remained pretty static for 1,000 years. What created and accelerated a massive change was the birth of print media, broadcast, and the consumer society. Here, as printing became easier and less expensive in the 16th century, pamphlets with beauty advice and recipes began to spread quickly and were available to all, regardless of class. And you can see how this would create a much larger audience. And here we have hand-tinted fashion photography, an early faces painted and colors added. Here we have, in the United States, the 1920s, there was a huge shift from discretionary and light use makeup to the obvious discussion and advertisement of makeup also grew in mainstream society and to Hollywood. And this is from the 1920s. This is from Harper's Bazaar in 1940. And here's some advertising. Overtly negative, sexist, and patronizing beauty advertising that created a plague on women's insecurities began in the 1920s. So they try to trick us into thinking we need makeup to be wanted. More ads. Wouldn't you too like to know Hollywood's makeup secret? Max Factor said that. 1934. And then we have the muses again. Steve Ibarra, Clara Bow, and Josephine Baker. And Anna May Wong. And Greta Garbo. And next we're on to the beauty pioneers, visionaries, and vaudeville. At the beginning of the 20th century, a group of entrepreneurs emerged, working with Hollywood in the beauty salon business. They began supplying cosmetics to newly independent women, and in the process created the immense beauty industry we know today. I talk about Hollywood. Max Factor, a lasting legacy. And here's some Max Factor House of Makeup. Store in the heart of the theater district of Los Angeles. And here's some of Max Factor's consumer products. Pretty cool. Problem with film. It wasn't just the unrefined theatrical grease paint that made doing makeup for movies difficult. A big part of the problem was the fact that early blue, sensitive, orthochromatic film stock was insensitive to red and made the actor's skin appear twice as dark as it really was, and blue eyes appear white and turned anything red to black. So they had some problems to overcome. Tears, the automatic lipstick, was launched in 1931, allowing users to seductively open and apply their lipstick with one hand. The cream that started it all. Helena showered remarkably shrewd skill. Helena showed a remarkably shrewd skill for marketing. She called her cream Burlesque. It had a very aristocratic ring to it. Supposedly contained herbs from the Carpathian Mountains in Eastern Europe. And what's in a name? Arden believed whatever shape of makeup a woman chose to wear depended on her personality and style rather than her hair color, challenging Max Factor's color harmony philosophy. And here's some Elizabeth Arden pages. And the new upstarts. Charles Revson. And here we have Revlon. Was the first company to introduce the idea of matching your lipstick to your nail polish. Espionage, Estee Lauder, Rule Breakers, and stark monochromatic packaging, tongue-in-cheek names, and groovy, innovative products. And Gwen's first cosmetic line were revolutionary as her fashion design. Mary Quant. And here's others. And again, the makeup muses. Marlene Dietrich, Marilyn Monroe, which I think everybody knows. And Lauren Hutton. And here's the fun part. History in your handbag. Folk remedies to global brands. And some old Rimmel products. The first must-haves. Makeup itself is a relatively modern term, first used in the theatrical world and coming from the phrase making up. And there, the 60s. In the 60s, Rubinstein's mascara Matic, which launched in 1958, was the first ever tube and wand applicator type of mascara. Today, professional style eye palettes containing a plethora of shades used to create numerous multi-dimensional looks are the norm, but it's a relatively modern concept which only took off during the 1970s. Famous for her iconic eye look, British model Twiggy partnered with Yardley to create a range of eye makeup products, including this black and white matte eyeshadow duo and false lashes for sale in the US. Q-Tics launched in 1911 in response to the growing nail care market. It talks about nails, the modern manicure. And here we have, even after bullet cartridges became the standard for lipstick, beauty companies consistently reworked the design, launched new mechanisms, and increasingly creative packaging to help their products stand out. And we still see that today. Oh, look how beautiful. Guerlain 1940s. Rouge Brassiere 1940s, and Avon in the 60s. It's from the 1930s, and some others. And Rouge Pot. with an increasingly large selection of colors, price points, and formulations, blush has been a readily available and popular handbag essential for over 100 years. Look how pretty. Large-scale blush manufacturing for the masses began in Paris in the 1800s, but it wasn't until the early 20th century that it was widely available everywhere. Powder and foundation, pancake, and later pan stick allowed women to carry neutral-looking foundation in their bags for touch-ups for the very first time. Wartime. World War II didn't dampen women's desire to continue their glamorous makeup rituals, nor the demand for their favorite rouges and powders. Look how pretty. We'll talk about the origins of the first brands. The 1940s and 1950s were the golden age of the novelty powder compact. These are some examples. Oh, I just love this. It's so pretty. Began as a theatrical makeup supplier, but once the stigma of wearing makeup had waned, it prided itself on being the glamorous dressing table staple available internationally. And this is all bourgeois. With other brands. And here's the Coty powder. And they still sell today. And here's the couture houses. Lancome, Chanel, some of their older products. And here's Christian Dior's first lipstick, Rouge Dior, launched in 1953 and was available in two packaging styles. The first, chic and simple for your handbag, or the incredibly ornate obelisk dressing table version. I would totally want this one. Here's Schumer and Mac and Bobbi Brown. And Kevin Kwan. And then the makeup muses. Got Twiggy and Elizabeth Taylor. And Grace Jones. And here is a little section on the future. And forward-facing technology. And glow in the dark. Silicone technology allows today's lipsticks to apply smoother, feel more comfortable, and wear longer on the lips. Here's glass. Pearl technology gives truly mirror-like finish to today's metallic pigments. This looks crazy. Silicones, polymers, and elastomers, along with pigments, create a flexible mask-like finish across the skin in today's formulations. And in the future, this technology will continue to develop and improve. And here's Madonna, the ultimate makeup chameleon. And Amy Winehouse. And then here's an afterword as well. Let's talk about and summarize, and some acknowledgements at the index. So all in all, I think it's a really fun coffee table book to have. And it's not just pretty pictures. There's gorgeous pictures and quite a bit of information and lots of writing to read. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you have a good idea of what's inside the book in case you might want to purchase it. And I'm glad I got the idea to do this video. Thank you so much for the suggestion.